What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Chant. I've got two videos for you today. The first video is to sort of give you a recap on all of the exciting news going on in the crypto and the airdrop space. So let's get into it. But before we do, just remember that this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. Don't just trust me blindly. I'm just a guy on YouTube. That being said, if you want extra coaching, guidance, and support, we got the Web3 Secret Society. Links to that are in the description below. So, crypto's had a pretty awesome day today. Like, I remember yesterday when I did my live stream, and even before, the day before that, I mentioned that these drawdowns are very temporary. You see a sort of period of consolidation. And when people go really hard on leverage, that's when market makers really try to manipulate the market and really push it really hard to liquidate people out of their longs. It happens also in reverse. So when people go really short on the market, which I'm sure happened yesterday, well, nothing better than to send a large green candle and liquidate people out of their positions. And this is why I try not to use leverage. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a video right after this one showing you how you can use a form of leverage to make a ton of money and farm some airdrops. But I hope you guys are happy because obviously, like, we've pretty much undone most of the damage over the last couple of days with this recent increase. Now, you're probably wondering why Ethereum isn't doing as well. Actually, Ethereum is being investigated by the SEC, the Ethereum Foundation. Ironically, I forget which fund it was, but one of the funds actually put $100 million. Was it 100 billion? I can't remember. They put a ton of money onto the Ethereum chain right before sending it down, and it almost seems like the FUD is so brazen here. Now, first thing I want to talk about is an airdrop, and this is actually a very kind of ironic airdrop. So Pyth did an airdrop for their Helix users. Not even for their Helix users, but if you're somebody who's in the injective ecosystem, and I've made a video on a sort of Helix before. It's a sort of DEX with a bunch of options. And in that video, I mentioned that you should try to get some trading volume. I told you guys, do not use the swap when possible. Use the actual spot trading, because that's what these protocols seem to care about, more so than just swapping back and forth and sort of just using that basic function that everyone knows, right? You want to create limit orders. You want to create these market orders if you need be. You want to use the perpetuals. You want to use the trading bots. Well, what happened, and maybe you qualified. The first thing is to even qualify for this airdrop at the time of the snapshot, which I believe was the first week of February. You had to have at least had one injective staked into the sort of validator. And sort of, if you qualified through any of these allocations, right? If you traded on spot or perpetuals on Helix, let me just show you that for, I'm not here, but let me just escape out of this. Let's say you click on trade here and you click spot, right? So what I was doing before, maybe I can look at, you can see here, like, trade history. You can see that, I was sitting here doing a bunch of trades before, right? Just like buying and selling injective. These are all my trades that you see on the bottom of the screen right here. And this is just me flipping. I would buy injective, sell a piece when it went higher, and kept doing it. And I sort of mentioned this on a previous video. And this is actually what qualified me for the airdrop, because I didn't sort of use perpetuals. I didn't use their pre-launch features. I kind of did like the spot market. So check it out. You might have sort of qualified. In fact, I qualified for 224 Pyth, which at a current price of $1 and something, I got, it was pretty decent. I got a decent amount of money. Probably the most ironic thing about this whole airdrop is I've been staking Pyth for a few months, and I haven't come close to making this amount with actually staking Pyth, but not doing anything related to Pyth. And guess what? I get the payload, right? So as you guys know, I've unstaked Pyth. It'll be available in a few days for me to sell sort of from the platform. I'm going to sort of use those funds elsewhere. My general feeling around Pyth is that every time an airdrop shows up where I'm qualified because I stake Pyth, it's always very minuscule, or it's a qualifier for me to do a testnet or do some sort of campaign, right? Like DGen Base is one example, Arc Digital is one example, Zero Lend is another example. I think there's one more that I'm slipping on. And just so you guys know, DGen Base actually came clean and said, hey, we screwed up pretty much big time. And one of the things that I would sort of be on the lookout for, if you did sort of put some liquidity in DGen Base, is they will be airdropping the DB token directly to your wallet over the next couple epochs, which begs the question, why don't people do this already? I don't understand the concept of making people go in and claim manually. It's almost like they don't want people to sort of get the token. They want people to miss out on it so maybe they can get some. And sort of, going from, I just showed you sort of Helix, which you can use. In this case, you can actually use this to use the swap feature, which I almost never use on here, but you can use that to trade your Pyth if you'd like to. In fact, this is actually what I use to get my Solana, because I would get my Solana on Injective and use the Injective Hub to jettison it over. And I'm going to make a video showing you guys how to transfer tokens from different chains in a more simple way. Now, going from one good airdrop to a really shitty one, you guys know how I feel about sort of Polyhedra and how they dropped the ball. Kind of my biggest issue was around how they put it on ETH mainnet, given sort of, permissionless interoperability. Kind of makes no sense, right? Well, they said they would do better, and they came back with something which, does not do me any good. I think it is small incremental for people because it's not really good anyways. But based on their comments, this is all they're willing to do. They're saying, hey, we reviewed the feedback and we're committed. And they're so committed that they're not really going to give anything to people. What they're doing is, if you had a claim of 20 ZK tokens or less, you have two options. So already from that, that if you got more than 20 ZK, sorry, it doesn't matter. I don't care. If you got 21 ZK tokens, you better enjoy paying that gas fee on ETH mainnet. You better like it's so ridiculous because one extra token actually will cost you an extra $50. Like, it's actually stupid the way they've done it, right? Like, this arbitrary boundary here is really dumb. Anyways, what they're saying is, let it lapse, wait a month, receive your allocation on a new chain with lower gas fees, and get an extra 10% ZK. So, in fact, I don't know if you can earn 21 ZK airdrop, but if you have 20, you can wait a month, get 22, and get it somewhere else, right? So you can also choose to claim the airdrop right now, and then you'll get the extra 10% later on another chain, right? Now, if you already claimed it, they're going to give you 10 ZK tokens somewhere else, which honestly, unless ZK token goes to like 20, unless ZK token goes to like 20 or 30 bucks, it doesn't really do anything because the ETH mainnet gas fees were terrible. And, I think this doesn't really do much for many people. I don't know how you guys feel. I would love to hear your thoughts on this update. I think it's pretty trash. As somebody who got like 140 ZK tokens, 120 of which came from my legendary Pandra NFT, because I didn't sell it at like 500 bucks. And now that NFT is worth like 80 bucks, right? Like, I bought it for 100. So I'm not complaining, but like, I could have literally sold that NFT, got 20 and done sort of this. So I can't help but feel kind of screwed, especially since I pushed a bunch of volume with Polyhedra. Yes, maybe we'll see if Merkley sort of rewards us, but hey, this is as far as Polyhedra is willing to go, and I think it's pretty shit. For those of you who have been paying attention, the next wave of Linea Park is up. So this is week 5. What's really cool, and here's some alpha for you guys. If you haven't used your boosts from the VIP zone, unfortunately, I've used all of mine. The first couple weeks, I think the most points was 30 LXP. I think the first 3 quests here are all like 40 LXP. They cost you like 25 to 50 cents in gas, and they take like a minute. This week has literally been the easiest of any of the Linea weeks. So tons of LXP for you to grab. And if you've got your bonuses still, this is where you use them. Use them here. I mean, maybe hold one in the chamber for the last 2 weeks here, or sorry, the last week over here, because we don't know. Maybe there's 100 LXP one down here, right? But the first 3, 40, 40, 40, all of them are very easy. All 6 of them, remember, I don't download anything. So the fact that all 6 are done up here, and the other 2 launch in a couple of days, right? So, damn it. This one launches in 3 days. This one launches in 4 days. Tells you it's a pretty good week. Very awesome. Now, as a reminder, if you are looking to collect these LXP, which is very important, right? Because they're going to airdrop this to us. Make sure that you've got your proof of humanity done. So I've talked about this in the past before. If you don't have this, your LXP sort of doesn't get sent to you, basically. It does nothing. So you got to complete attestations for a couple ones. So the number one thing is, Bitcoin Passport. I tell you guys to do it. I made a video on how to maximize your score. I'm almost sitting at 40 points. And remember, you don't have to do much KYC stuff. There's a bunch of things in my Bitcoin Passport video on how to max your score with sort of still keeping your stuff as private as possible. So this is what I would recommend. Another one I used to recommend was Clique, which is not issuing attestations. My attestation that existed before will stay there, and I use Trusted Lab. But one that I would recommend that you use now over Clique, since you can't get it because it's kind of not available, is Ruby Score. You go to Ruby Score over here. All you gotta do is connect your wallet. If you have at least 15 points on the Linea network, that's enough. And then you just got to pay this small gas fee and claim attestation. I haven't done it because I have literally no need to do it right now and doesn't do anything for me. But something you want to look into doing. And, forget the referral link. Who cares about that? The next thing I want to talk about is the Runestone. So I see here on the chat that Yo-Yo Street said, I'm lucky with all these qualifications for Injective. Well, I'm going to tell you the story about how I got screwed over here. And in fact, the Injective ones, I put in thousands of dollars across a bunch of wallets. And that was only had one wallet qualify for that, for the Pyth staking, for the Pyth airdrop. But let me tell you something. So I have 3 Unisat wallets, each with 2 inscriptions. And guess what happened? This guy did an airdrop of an item worth $1,000 to people who had 3. So I missed out because I chose to divide those 6 inscriptions among 3 wallets. If I did it among 2 wallets, I would have gotten 2 runestones. Instead, I got nothing. And I've heard from other people who've gotten a ton, 4 or 5. Because of how many inscriptions they had. And they had, wallets, they didn't pick 3. They obviously had more on a bunch. But what's really cool about this has really grown as a community. Now, I'm not here pushing it because I'll be honest with you guys. I do have one. I bought one and I was flipping it a couple of times. I'm up about 0.02 Bitcoin on it, which is I don't know, 1,300 US or something at this point, 1,400 US. But it's done really well. It continues to go up. It's sort of traded. It always it'll go up a sort of level. It'll trade sideways and then go up another level and just keeps doing it. It's number 4th ranked. And one of the really cool things that's going on here is there's a ton of projects that really want to support it. So what they're doing is they're creating these airdrops where if you list this NFT, you do not qualify. So you'll notice if you look at the market, the number of listed runestones is minimal. It's 1.3 or 1,300 out of 84,000 owners. Total supply 112. Right, so a little less than about a little over 1% is sort of listed. Very interesting, and you saw over here, the current market cap is 402 million. It's 11th place in terms of meme coins, number 1 on Bitcoin. And literally, it's just going to sort of skyrocket here. Obviously, once we get into the billions, that's when you really sort of start to see some sort of resistance. But it is interesting. On top of that, you see Leather Wallet is now also accommodating. So, Leather is one of the Bitcoin wallets that exists. I use it to sort of hold my Stacks token. And then at the same time, there's going to be a Rune meme coin. and I believe there's like 10, 10 confirmed airdrops and whitelist to Runestone holders so far. I did go and mint something like yesterday and sold it for like an extra like $80 profit. It wasn't that big, but hey, like I said, I'm in it. I'm not telling you guys to sort of buy it because obviously it is very expensive at this point. It's 0.05 Bitcoin. And it's something that I will continue to update you guys on. This is one that like I thought about taking profit again, and I'm like, honestly, I'm going to share with you guys something that happened after, and you probably will know what I'm going to talk about, but it's still kind of like it hurts what I'm going to tell you. So I talked about the Wen NFT exchange. I think I was the only one to bring it up. I haven't seen any sort of content creator bring it up. I mean, maybe they have and I haven't seen it. I think I told you guys about the OG pass a couple of weeks ago. I told you guys about the early access as well. And they sort of went live, I think, last week. And we are so close to them going live with their points distribution starting on March 24th. When that goes live, you can actually click on this button here and you can stake your OG, your Wen OG pass. I think I told you guys I was unable to kind of make it to the mint. I mean, I heard the public mint sold out really fast anyways, but because it was free, right? There was 4,000 OG Wen OG passes. I would see 13. No, I would see like 130,000 people, or maybe 13,000. I can't remember if there's an extra zero. They were fighting to win those whitelists for this OG pass for free. So I ended up buying it for $100, off the secondary market. And let me sort of explain why. Number one is this right here. There are 4,000 of these in total, and they will get 6.6% of the total Wen fee. So just think about how that'll do long term. This is just literally like, it's going to pay for itself, in my opinion, really fast if Wen Exchange becomes the premier NFT, or one of the top NFT marketplaces on the Blast ecosystem. At the same time, you also get like an extra 5% airdrop points per NFT stake, and you also get an extra 150%. If you joined early access, which I did, and I hope you guys did too, because at this point you can't join it anymore. So I think that's also really cool. And I still think what is this, $110. So I will be interested to see. I might end up buying a few more of these. I would be interested to see sort of how this goes. You know what? Maybe I'll just buy one more while I'm doing it. You know what? Let's just do it. Yeah, forget it. I'm gonna do it. I hope someone doesn't snipe this off me while I'm doing it live for you guys. Um, you know, just because I want to show you guys. Like, I truly believe that this is actually a sort of worthwhile deal. Buy. Hold on. Buy. Let's just refresh this and see what's going on over here. Okay, whatever. I think the other one went away, but we'll see. Please confirm the transaction. Yeah, sure. We'll pay for this over here. Cool. I personally think this is worth it, and I sort of explained why, and I'm going to own 2 of them, which means I'll own 2 out of 4,000. Honestly, it's $110. Good speculation in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. Really depends. And honestly, I think, what I've seen with a lot of these things is like, I'd rather be a little more on the risky side on this. And if I want to, I can sell it later, but I'll have 2 now. And if you can only stake 1, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to transfer this to another wallet and use it that way. One more thing I want to talk about, and we minted the Ninja Blaze NFT about maybe like 3 to 4 weeks ago, and it was 1 injective to mint. I think I've given either 1 or 2 of these away on the channel so far. I can't remember, but they had an exciting announcement. So if you go to dashboard and you go to, so here's my NFTs, right? Yeah, so I have 7, so I've given 2 away already. You click on voting. They actually announced their tokenomics today, or I guess yesterday, depending on where you are, right? Wednesday, March 20th. So basically, they announced their tokenomics. And what was very interesting for me is NFT holders get 10%, right? So they're going to have the token generation event. They're going to get 10% right here. There's a token sale. There's a DAO treasury. Team gets 20%. Community gets 35%. All this stuff. And you see how all of this unlocks. Going back down over here, like, I've included the links if you guys want to check it out. But basically, distribution among NFT holders will be done in a few ways. First, half of the vested tokens will be distributed immediately after the public sale. Another 25% will be allocated over time through staking, lock drop, or holding NFTs over 2 years. And the rest is allocated based on the activity in the DAO, which means, doing the governance and all of that. So obviously, I went and, submitted my vote for yes. And then I went in and I bought some more NFTs. So I went on another account and just bought up the floor of NFTs. I believe they were at 1.3 at the time. I sort of messaged our private group. I think a bunch of us went and grabbed some. I grabbed some at 1.3. I think some sort of grabbed it maybe a little lower than that. I can't remember. But, the price of this has gone up significantly, 1.75. And I expect, once people realize or once this passes, maybe this will continue to go up even more. So just something to keep your eyes on. Something that's interesting, and this sort of last thing I want to cover is Hydro Finance and another token after that. So last week we had the Hydro Finance launchpad. It was oversubscribed by like 1,001%. And I remember I got the tokens at a price of 11 cents. I ended up selling my tokens for like 23 cents, 24 cents, and then the token went down to 15 cents. And the airdrop claim happened yesterday, right? We didn't, I talked about it 2 days ago, didn't feel like the need to cover it. The whole claiming process was very straightforward. We sort of went through it with you guys. And then what happened was very interesting. Today, the Hydro Finance team announced a sort of trading challenge. And because of it, people were buying up the Hydro token. And on Helix app, you can actually see that the token is currently worth 34.7 cents, which means that after the Hydro Finance launchpad, it didn't go up. But after the airdrop and after this sort of challenge, the challenge, how could you know they were going to do this, right? But that's what caused the price to go up. So definitely a lesson learned. Like I'm honestly I sold it at 23 cents, got the double, and or 95% or 94%, something like that. Was very happy with it. But for the airdrop, I sold the airdrop at like 17 cents, I think. And that I could have got double that if I waited. But obviously, who knew, right? Like I waited 3 days on Hydro Finance to sell some of the remaining I had, and it would just keep going down. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna get out of it. And obviously, these are the things that, like, as we go through this cycle and it just happens again and again, you start learning and watching for patterns. And nowhere was this better than in Crypto Valley. So Crypto Valley is this new GameFi project. You guys remember, like I talked about the sort of the liquidity generation event. This was actually a really good play for a lot of people. And I think Web3 Secret Society as a group realized, hey, we got in, we made a ton of money off this, but man, you look at the current price, look how much money we left off the table. Remember, this token, we were able to get a bunch of it at 15 cents where it launched. And now it's at $12.50, literally after a week. Now, I got over 25,000 tokens. Can you imagine if I just lost my internet access or something happened? I would have been so happy. Now, I did earn a significant airdrop that should be coming out at some point. So hey, when that happens, maybe I'll get a couple $1,000s from that, right? Maybe even $10,000. So would be very interesting to see if the price holds. But obviously, this continues to go up and up and up. And I really do think there is a point where there is going to have there's a point where this cannot go up anymore, because this is a farm token, and everyone is sort of creating more yield token. There's locked yield. So once that starts expiring, I think this is going to start coming down. I don't know when that's going to be. I have no clue, because I would have thought it would have already happened by now. The lesson for me is from now on, one of the things that I am going to be doing is we're going to do a multi-sig wallet in our private group, so that, we're not going to be able to sell. So we're going to do a sort of governance. Go, okay, guys, we're doing this launch. We're going to put 10% of our tokens in here, whatever. Multi-sig, so a few people have to sign for it, and then also we're gonna have to do a governance vote to make sure, hey, are we actually really want to go through this? So it is very it is very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Very, very interesting how all of this is going to work out. I'm also probably gonna, from now on, lesson learned from Hydro Finance, lesson learned from a bunch of these airdrops is don't just dump them all right away. Sell like 75%, sell the rest, on the side, like wait for it. And in the case of like, if I could do this all over again, obviously it's hard, right? Because I was looking at like a couple $1,000s being up. I'm like, all right, we're Gucci. But if I held all my tokens right now, I'd be up over like maybe 350,000 to $250,000, not quarter, almost $500,000, like something insane like that. And it's just so like I want to vomit. I want to vomit so bad at like how poorly this played out for me. But hey, lessons can be learned, and I'm definitely going to learn some lessons, and I'm going to make sure that I keep moon bags and prep myself, because literally, had the plays, got the access, did everything else, just sort of how I phase my cash out. Sometimes it's not going to work out for you. Unfortunately, this is not one of those times, or sorry, unfortunately, this is one of those times where like following that kind of got hurt. But yeah. So anyways, I'm going to go into the next video, and we're going to talk about how to earn Solana and how to earn some crazy airdrops. So guys, make sure if you haven't already, check that out. Also, please like the video, share the video, comment below. I'll sort of get back to you when I can. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I continue to make these videos so that you guys are informed and you guys know what's going on. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.